Now imagine you're shopping for a car and you see this red BMW you really like. It drives so smooth, you test drove it. It sounds so nice. And you're just imagining yourself right now driving down your favorite roads with the windows down, music up, in a summer night in your favorite car. And you're getting so excited about this, you're talking to the salesperson and they're hyping this car up and it seems like such a great car and you're just so excited to take it home. And then you go to the back and you start going over some paperwork and you're looking over the financing paperwork. And all of a sudden you're reading through it and you see, wow, 15% interest on this car loan? It's crazy. I didn't think not having a credit score would be that big of a deal. And this is why, although not having a credit card can seem smart, using a credit card is actually a really good idea, and that you're able to build up your credit and you're able to borrow at low interest rates, or at least lower interest rates than you were if you have a poor credit score or no credit score. And so this is what we're going to be looking at today in our presentation. We're going to be looking at why credit cards are better than cash, why credit cards are better than debit cards, and why they're completely safe. And contrary to public opinion, credit cards are actually the superior mode of purchasing and why you should get one. And so let's start firstly to see why credit cards are superior to cash. Well, in an article published by Discover in 2026, we see that credit cards build credit history for a person. So, for example, credit history is basically explaining to the lender that, hey, this individual has a good track record of borrowing money, that this person has historically borrowed money and they pay it back on time. So a lender looks at this credit score and says, this person is very likely to pay me back. Therefore, I'm going to reward them and I'm going to have a lower interest rate on their loan versus an individual who has a horrible credit score and maybe historically they don't pay off their loans very well. This lender is going to be like, I don't really want to lend this person money. Therefore, I'm going to hedge myself by raising the interest rate. And so this is what happens. And cash can't do this. Cash can't build a credit history because it's invisible to the lender. And that's just by nature, you can't track cash spending. That's just how it works. Additionally, cash is also a very risky thing to carry around, especially in large amounts. Like if you're carrying around $2,000 in your pocket or in your wallet, it's dangerous. It's going to get stolen. And if it doesn't get stolen, it's just a bad idea to carry that much because you could lose it. Versus a credit card, if you lose a credit card and it gets stolen, it's easy to basically freeze it. According to Chase Bank, which they published an article which did not have a date associated with it, you can freeze this credit card and also you will not be held responsible for the unauthorized charges that are associated with that. So it makes it much safer and so that's why cash is inferior to credit cards. And now let's look at why credit cards are superior to debit cards. So, according to Citizens Bank, which also did not have a date associated with the article they published, debit cards have very little fraud protection in comparison to credit cards. So, for example, if someone were to get or your debit card numbers, or they were to steal your physical debit card and they were to make unauthorized purchases, they could either A, drain your bank, or B, you would be liable for those charges, or both in this scenario. And so credit cards, they have extreme monitoring on them and they have very stronger protection. Additionally, credit cards have much better rewards, according to TD Bank, and they published an article which also did not have a date associated with it. They stated that credit cards have great rewards such as cash back, travel bonuses, and other rewards such as higher points back on gas and whatnot. And you can use this on stuff you're going to spend anyway. So, say, for example, you have to spend money on utilities anyway. So, why not put it on a credit card? And then you get cash back towards that, even if it's only 2 or 3%. That's still money you're getting back that you wouldn't have had regardless. And so overall, credit cards are much better than debit cards. And so now let's look at how credit cards are the superior mode of purchasing and why you should get one and why they're totally safe if you use them wisely. So, according to Brown University, which also did not have a date in associated with the article they published, they stated that if you pay a credit card off in full, the full statement balance off every single month, that you will pay no interest. And this is actually the optimal way to use a credit card, and it's totally safe. You pay no interest. It is the same as if the bank was or the money was coming out of your bank every single month, but it's just delayed. And it's like taking a short-term loan, but it's paid off in full every single month, and there's no risk involved as long as you pay it back on time every month and you don't miss it. And so that's like you spend basically as if this money was coming straight out of your checking. So you don't spend more than you have, and you get all the benefits, the rewards, like we talked about, without any of the risks. And so that's why credit cards are the superior mode of spending. And so to take a step back and to look at the bigger picture, why should you get a credit card? Well, in summary, as we looked at, credit cards are much better than cash because they build credit and they let you be able to have a good credit score and to be able to borrow in the future whenever you need to buy a house, whenever you need to buy a car. Because when you're buying your first house, you don't want to have a horrible credit score or no credit score because you're going to be paying higher interest. And that sucks because you're going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars more than you would be paying anyway. And so, although not using a credit card can seem like a good thing, using a credit card wisely in the way that it's supposed to be used is superior because it gives rewards and it lets you build up your credit score. And if you need to borrow money, you're able to borrow because you're shown to be a good lender. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on a credit card in order for these things to be true. Say, for example, use a small fixed expense that you have monthly, put it on the credit card, and then auto pay it to pay off every single month. It could only be $10 a month, and the credit card gets paid off every month, every month, every month, and your credit score builds and you're able to borrow.